Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here with Jeff Grant, SBR contributor, and today we're going to be taking a look at that college football game between Ohio State and Navy. So, Jeff, with Urban Meyer as a head coach for the Buckeyes, they've been able to put together a perfect 24-0 straight-up record. And considering that they have failed to cover the number in its two neutral site affairs under Meyer, how do you think that this is going to affect us when placing our bets?
You know, our viewers shouldn't put too much stock in those neutral site contests and not covering the spread. Those were the last two games that the Buckeyes played last year in the Big Ten championship against Michigan State, and then really a lackluster performance against the Clemson Tigers, as the Buckeyes really didn't show up for that when they were deflated and losing that championship game in hopes of reaching the national title game. So they were not in it mentally in that Orange Bowl game. So I wouldn't put too much in that, but Urban Meyer doesn't lose 3 games in a row, so it's hard to figure that the Buckeyes will lose in straight-up fashion, but I'm not quite sure if they're going to cover the spread. Definitely going to have to read up what's going on in Columbus over the next month leading into that season opener.
Right, definitely. Now, as for Navy, they've won 21 games against schools from the Power 5 conferences since 2003, but they're still 11-11 against the spread versus non-service academy opponents in the last couple of years. Do you think that this is going to improve considering that they will have plenty of their returning starters back for this season?
The betting public has caught on with the Navy Midshipmen and the fact that they are one of the better teams from a covering standpoint. And what I mean by Navy's against the spread success is they always give their best effort, while their opponent may not do that, and they're always usually getting points. But now that the betting public is more familiar with Navy, they'll be a favorite more. So as the season goes on, I'm not exactly sure that you should back Navy as a favorite, as they're normally an underdog, especially against the power conferences. But like I said, I definitely need to read up on this game more in terms of making a side selection. That's why I'm kind of looking toward the total.
No doubt. And now that, we know how well Braxton Miller was under center last season, but considering that he's got 4 new starters on the offensive line, how do you think this is going to affect the team?
Normally it would be a major drawback, but these are Meyer's recruits. He's now in his 3rd year in Columbus, so he's brought basically all of this roster that you'll see in the 2014 campaign to campus. It was under his watch. So they'll be used to a system they've been in for a while. While the other starters that have moved on to the NFL, they really had to adjust to Meyer's offensive system, which is not easy. They spread the field, so I don't think it'll be too much of a hindrance, and I think the Buckeyes will be able to move the football at will against the Midshipmen.
Well, Jeff, and finally, Keenan Reynolds was also a stud for the team for Navy last season, giving them 31 rushing touchdowns, and the team averaged a 33.5 point per game in that span. Now, do you think that that's something that this team will be able to replicate this season? And is that something that we're going to be able to benefit from making our bets?
Not exactly in this week. The Buckeyes do bring a strong defense to the table, but the Buckeyes will struggle in stopping the option attack for Navy. So definitely look for some major numbers offensively from the Midshipmen moving forward from week 2 through the end of the regular season. But they'll likely be held to somewhere in the 20 to 25 point range, leaving them about 8 points shy of what they averaged the season ago.
So what do you think a good play would be here? On a total bet?
You know what? I'm going to look to go the total. I think both these offenses will be able to move the football. I think the Buckeyes will put up 42 plus, while Navy should be able to score about 24 to 28 points. And both like to move the football and snap the football really quickly and keep the defense on its toes. And with those 2 quarterbacks, Braxton Miller and Keenan Reynolds, don't expect a lot of turnovers, which will, of course, lead to offensive points.
All right, so pretty much I'm getting here that you're liking the over on that one, right?
I'm looking at the over right now and still looking at the side. Definitely something to look at as we progress through the end of the month and maybe look at a side selection later on.
All right, I appreciate it, Jeff, and I hope to have you back again soon.
Thank you.
All right, and for SportsbookReview.com, this is Dax Floyd.